Hello, I am Dr. Ji Dae Kyung from Seoul May Dental Clinic. Today is already the 9th session with me. We have so far covered 2 treatment strategies for Class 1 malocclusion. Today is more about actual cases. Class 1 malocclusion can be largely divided into 2, Class 1 crowding and Class 1 spacing. Many of you must be familiar with Class 1 crowding. So today, I would like to focus more on the latter, Class 1 spacing, and talk about how to treat such cases. This slide summarizes treatment strategies for Class 1 crowding. In terms of where to position the central incisor, you have to think about AP position and check the midline. Next, to create space, you can consider IPR, arch expansion, and molar distalization. Extraction is not included in our scope at this stage.
Next, there are some considerations for different types of tooth movement. Since they were mentioned before, I will be quickly covering them. For rotation cases, what did I say is necessary? Space. You need to create space. You need to think about interference with opposing teeth and the possibility of intrusion, which can be compensated by attachments with some degree of extrusion force. For teeth that are too small or rounded, elastics or buttons can also be used. And what about intrusion? For example, in the case of lingual inclination of maxillary anterior teeth, direction is really important. And for the mandibular anterior region, symphysis width and buccolingual width should be considered. And for lingually inclined maxillary anterior teeth, you need to check the proximity to the A-point cortical plate to consider alveolar bone housing. I believe this summary will help you manage Class 1 crowding cases.
Then, let's move on to today's focus, Class 1 spacing cases. There is a diastema in the maxillary anterior region and generalized spacing in the mandibular anterior teeth as well. Here, you can see some spacing. There are actually lots of things to talk about spacing, but today I'd like to focus on the second one, overbite and overjet cases. If there is generalized spacing with a slight open bite tendency, tipping extrusion can be a useful option. You can use it during the process of space closure. Then, what about a case with a deep bite tendency? In such cases, bite deepening may lead to TFO in the anterior region. So you should be careful with that. Let's then take a look at some actual cases. What do you think about these two? They may look similar. Generalized spacing is observed in the anterior region, extending to canines.
Can we take a different approach from bracket-based treatment for this case? That will be the focus. First of all, this is the bracket-based treatment result for the second case. Like this, alignment, leveling, space consolidation, and space closure were implemented. Do you remember what I mentioned about this? What you are seeing here is an ideal status right before debonding, but reaching this stage takes a bit more time in bracket-based treatment. For instance, it will take a considerable amount of time to consolidate the spaces between the central and lateral incisors and canines and to close the remaining spaces. And alignment and leveling should also be completed beforehand. Let's look at the process in the dental illustration. Like this, alignment and leveling will be adjusted first, and the gaps will be closed after bringing the central and lateral incisors, as well as the canines, together. This routine will take some time. However, unlike with brackets, you can do this job all together with clear aligners. That's why we can say that clear aligner treatment is a more time-efficient and effective mechanic.
Here we have the cephalometric and panoramic radiographs, diagnosis, and clinical goals. It was completed using 36 steps of aligners over 9 months. I am not saying that using brackets is good or bad. Rather, I would like to point out that clear aligners can be more effective for spacing of this extent. But there are some precautions. In cases of severe generalized spacing, the remaining space after consolidation of the central and lateral incisors and the cans can be quite large, up to 4, 5, or even 6 millimeters. This situation is similar to a post-extraction case, so anchorage considerations become critical. Tipping and other related issues should also be carefully taken into account. But for the case I mentioned today, where spacing is not that large, clear aligners can be a very good option.
Today, after briefly explaining Class 1 crowding cases, I looked into spacing cases. For orthodontists, they can be very simple cases, but for GPs, they can be challenging, but still worth trying. I only have about 10 minutes to use for each online session, but there are 3 types of offline seminars you can choose from. A one-day seminar that summarizes important points in 7 hours, and a 10-day course consisting of 62 hours of hands-on sessions and diagnosis, etc. And lastly, an advanced course. We offered the advanced course in the first half of this year, and it will return in the first half of next year. It is a 4-day course for orthodontists or general practitioners who have more experience in orthodontics. I hope you can find them useful. I asked an AI what the future of orthodontics will look like. Then it showed me 4 pictures. I picked one of them. What do you think about this? Does it look plausible, or is it too far-fetched? While there are still some controversies surrounding clear aligners, I believe that we are now applying them to more and more cases. I am confident that they can be a highly effective tool for orthodontists and hope they become a valuable asset for you as well. Thank you.